Hello and welcome. In this training video, I'm going to walk you through creating an application, and I'm going to give you an explanation of all the different pieces of the application settings and things like that, so that you have a full understanding of creating an application and the different options behind it. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you don't know where I'm currently at facebook.com/developers/create-app.php. This will be provided to you in the resources PDF, so you can go ahead and look there if you'd like. So let's go ahead and name this. Just call it Demo Apps. Agree to the terms. Create application. Now, if it didn't like that name, it would have given you a notification box, but it does. So now we are redirected to the CAPTCHA or security check. And let's see if that'll work. Submit that. Okay, and it looks like that worked. You're automatically redirected to the About or very first page within the application. So there's quite a bit here. I'm going to go over all of it with you, starting here. Application name, we could go ahead and change that if you'd like. Just cannot contain Facebook trademarks. If you wanted to give it a description, you could do that here. The icon. Now, the tab location is currently located underneath your profile image. If this changes when you watch this, or if it's in a different position, things like that, obviously you're going to want to change or disregard this to whatever it currently is set to. This icon is kind of important because with its current positioning, it'll show these little gears here as the icon. So you're going to probably want to upload a custom image, which they say maximum size should be 16 by 16, so that you have an icon. Now you could also put a logo that you can put a max size of 75 by 75. You could upload that there. You could change the language. You could change how support is taken care of, whether it be through email or URL. So you could change out the email addresses, privacy policy URL, and terms of service. You can also come down here to manage users and add, remove administrators, developers, testers, and insights users. And then you would hit save changes. That covers the About tab. Now let's go on to website. Website, this is needed sometimes when you are doing more of a complete application. When you are setting up static HTML pages to be used as tabs, or maybe WordPress themes to be used as tabs within your fan page, this isn't so important. But when you're making an actual application, this is sometimes required. The site URL, which is your site's URL, and then site domain is sometimes needed, but it also gives you your app ID and app secret here. So keep that in mind, that these core settings are sometimes needed depending on the application that you're creating. Next, and this is probably the biggest, is Facebook integration. Now, here's everything that you got. This might change a little bit again throughout the changes that Facebook constantly makes, but let's go through this one at a time. Canvas page is going to be the page name that you give the actual application. So if you wanted to list this in the Facebook directory, you'd want to probably pick something that was close to the application name that you've picked out for this. If it's just a tab that you're using to pull into a fan page, then the name probably isn't really that important. So let's say for this sake that, another thing to keep in mind is that the Canvas page, it's actually compared against the entire Facebook application library. So you're not going to be able to get a name like welcome or test or tester. All that stuff is going to be gone. So let's see if we can't get welcome spelt wrong, just for demo's sake. Canvas URL. Now this, and you see these little notes here in case you forget. It's a good memory jogger. You could just come back to this video. Canvas URL is where on your domain or your .com is all the files going to be hosted. Now, it's going to be the main directory. So what that means is you're going to want to create your own directory for where you're putting the files to this application. So let's say, we have our domain, it's, mywebsite.com. So you'd want to make a subdirectory or a directory within that would house this application. So let's just say we called it FB Apps. Okay, so now what it would look like is, let's say mydomain.com /FB Apps. Now, you can't just leave it like this. You have to either put one of those guys or a question mark. So, since it's going to be a directory instead of just a single file, then we're going to go ahead and put a / there. Okay, now if you wanted to offer secure canvas URL, you would put that here. That's just HTTPS. The next two options, iframe or FBML. Most things that you're going to be developing or having developed for you is going to be iframe. FBML is still around. It's constantly being depreciated, and I think eventually they'll just get rid of it. So you're probably going to want to mostly develop in iframe anyways. And then iframe size. Do you want to show scroll bars or auto resize? We always want to auto resize on that. As long as you have a little couple code snippets put into your templates or your themes that you're going to be creating to pull into a fan page tab, you want to do auto resize. If you're creating a full-blown application that is a canvas application, auto resizing might not be necessary, but it might again. So auto resize would get rid of the scroll bars both vertically and horizontally. You can add in a bookmark URL. Social discovery, enabled or disabled. And then here is the most important aspect if you are pulling in your application as a tab within your fan page. So you're going to want to fill out the page tab's information. So this, we can pick anything for this tab name. So we could type in welcome, and that'll be fine. iframe or FBML, again, it's going to be iframe. The tab URL, now what's interesting about this is above, you'll see we typed in the actual subdirectory or directory within our website or .com that had all the files. Now what you're going to do is you're going to specifically mention or put in the actual file. So let's just say it's index.php. That is the main page within that directory. So that would be the page that you want people to land on first. That that they're going to start and be able to move through, maybe your custom website that you're going to pull through. So that's just simply the tab URL. And you can see, again, you've got your notes here that make it really easy to understand. And then you got a couple additional options. Secure tab URL, that's just HTTPS. And an edit URL if you wanted to have somewhere to edit the app settings. And then you would hit Save Changes, and that completes the Facebook integration changes or options that you can choose. So next is going to be mobile and devices. If you are building something for mobile specifically, you have different options here. You can do HTML5 mobile web, which is your best option since everything's moving that way. And then you're going to be able to put in for Apple. If you're building an Apple, you'll be able to put in a bundle ID, App Store ID if you're selling it. And again, you've got your notes off here to the right. Android, you'd have to put in the key hash here and then save changes. Okay, credits is next. Credits has to do with pulling into Facebook credits. So first you have to register, your company, you have to provide the core settings, and then obviously it wants you to kind of review the API documentation and things like that. So you would start here, get more information on using this or tying into the Facebook credit system, and then you would register your business and fill in all this information down here, save changes. And the very last tab is advanced. I don't think you'll really have to go into here. I think you'd probably need a really good understanding of coding languages to be able to go through here. But here are this just to give you an idea, there is quite a few advanced options or features that you can set up within your application. If you know somebody that, or you've been shown these settings that you're supposed to set for your applications, well then obviously you're going to come in here and make those changes. Otherwise, I would just leave the advanced stuff alone. for your basic fan page tabs that you're going to be pulling in as iframes. You don't really need to mess with anything like this. This is really used for the Canvas applications where, you know, things like Zynga games, where you're actually playing it within Facebook, and you know, it's just a different kind of application. So this is when you're going to get into these options. Okay, so again, you'd make those changes, hit Save Changes, and that's it. So at this point, we've effectively gone through every single setting that you can change within a Facebook application. I hope you have a better understanding and really understand the simplicity that there really is to creating an application, especially if you're pulling it in for your fan page. So stay tuned, and in the next couple of videos, we'll dive deeper into Facebook fan pages.